Joe. How you doing? Good. Great.
All right, thanks everybody. We got Rich Dorman on the left, Ryan Gipson on the right. We'll follow him up with some players after. Just gonna straight up open to the questions. Wants Mike first. And you just address what you're asking your question.
How's it going, Coach Dorman? Just wanted to ask you a little about your depth this year, both in the bullpen and the rotation. You've got some people by way of the transfer portal, got guys back like Kamat and Joey Munt. Just wanted to hear a little bit about what you're seeing so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's a much better position from where we were at last year, especially towards the end of our season. Confident that, Kamat's is healthy, Munt's healthy, Jaron Hunter's healthy, and that's a shot in the arm for us and just adds to our depth, especially with the strength of our incoming freshman class. So,
Thanks. Hey, Dor, could you just elaborate a little bit on Kamat's, what you've seen out of him? Like, what has he been able to do? I know he just threw for the first time a couple weeks ago, and just kind of your expectations on what he's going to bring this year.
well, he told me yesterday, which I already knew, but he's like, hey, that's the hardest I've thrown. I didn't throw one pitch that hard at all last season. So the velocity is ticking up where it needs to be now that he's coming into his junior year. The command, the compete has always been there for Jacob. It's just a little bit lack of velo, and the fact that he's worked extremely hard and just that's ticked up a little bit is gonna help him a lot this season.
It's like 92.
Yeah, grab the 2. Yeah, sat like 91.
Rich Kerry Eggers.
Gary?
Talk a little bit about your freshmen and who's looking good and maybe what roles you might have them in.
Well, holy cow, Eric Segura, he came out of the gate in his first live, and I mean, it was competitive down in the zone, attacking 93 to 95. Now, first outing, adrenaline, plus it was like 40 degrees, so 45 degrees, so there's another factor in there, but obviously Eric's done a tremendous job of like showing his competitiveness and that he could potentially be a starter for us. Is it this year or next year? Yet to be determined, but he's a warrior, he's competitive. So right now, if I'm ranking freshmen, he's probably near the top. Drew Talovs from Wesleyan. Right-handed, been up to 95, so he's got big velo as well. Leif Palmer, unfortunately, had a minor setback as soon as we got back from Christmas break, but he's on the mend and he'll be in position to throw probably middle to the end of the year for us. Big kid from Golden, Colorado, 6'5", 6'6", right-hander. He's been up to the mid-90s. Let me think. Those 3 for sure. We got Matthew Morrell. He's a super athletic kid we weren't quite sure we were going to get. We knew we had a great athlete because he played a lot of football, and but the velocity has kind of been a shot in the arm. I mean, he was 92, 93, but it's quick. Has a little natural cut to it. He kind of found a slider this fall as well that he can rely on in the zone if his fastball command isn't there. And so he's been another tremendous freshman, filling up the zone as well. So that's kind of where it's stacked right now with those guys.
Ryan, just if you could talk us through, there's a lot of return offense from a season ago. Just sort of where do you think this group is right now compared to, at this time last year?
Yeah. The fact that Brady Casper and Micah McDowell are back is pretty wild. We didn't expect that. And so really you look at our outfield from last year, Gavin, Micah, Brady, those 3 are back. I always have high expectations for our offenses going into the year, and last year's the same. Had big time expectations, and nobody would have said that we're going to replace the production that we lost in Melton and Boyd and Meckler and those guys from the year prior, and we ended up scoring more runs last year. And so this year, again, with the guys that are back, with the leadership of Boz at second, and the way that Tanner Smith's playing the game, and Mason Guerra, and just that nucleus of returners, we're gonna have a chance to score a lot of runs every time we run out there.
Speaking of those runs, about a week ago when we were here, Mason said that they're going to crack that 100 home run mark, no problem. Last year you guys hit 89. Kind of curious about what you think on that claim and where you see this team heading.
We have plenty of power. There's a combination of guys that happens to be more than 9. I mean, we could run, 13, 14 guys out there in a 9-man lineup, and everybody has a chance to leave the yard. There's going to be big-time production that we expect from the guys that did it last year to give us a chance to do that. Our identity isn't necessarily tied into just wrapped up in the long ball, but we definitely have a good shot to get to that number.
Awesome. And back to one of your freshmen, Easton Corey, two-way in high school. I was curious if you guys might be using him two-way or. Excuse me. Sorry about that. My mistake.
You're good.
Ryan, last year of the Pac-12, or at least as we know it now, what are your thoughts on that? And can you talk about some of the other teams that you think are going to be title contenders?
In the conference? I haven't thought a lot about the other teams or really looked into much. UCLA is always going to have good recruiting classes, and they're going to have some talent. I'll start thinking about them once we get leading up to their weekends.
Talk about the being the last year.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Baseball's in such a different light than football, and so. For us personally, for Oregon State baseball, and I'm not going to speak for everybody else in the conference, obviously, the other 9 have gone to other conferences for next year, but we're in such a good spot, no matter what happens in the scheme of things. Coach Canham's made sure of that with the independent schedule that we have going forward for next year. If it gets to that, we're going to be in a position to be able to host regionals and host super regionals. And that's what matters the most. We take care of our business and put ourselves in a situation to host regionals and supers. That's what we want to do year in, year out. So it's something that our guys really don't even think about, I guess. It's more, Dor and Mitch and Joey and I talking to our recruits and letting the incoming guys know that they're going to be in good shape. So, yeah.
Gip, what would your challenge to Baz be right now? I mean, it's kind of hard to envision him doing a whole lot more, but I'm sure there's more there. And I guess just the expectations and the kind of pressures that he brings in with, where he's supposed to be in the draft and all that stuff. Just, I guess the season ahead for him, what is a challenge with him?
To keep him in the present, to keep him, just in the moment each day. And he has an unbelievable tool set, skill set to do that himself. He's big in the mental game. He's a learner. He's always searching kind of ways to improve. So I don't necessarily worry about, scouts and draft and expectations. With him, he's gonna be fine. He's a different breed. As far as challenging him daily, he's somebody that likes to be pushed. He likes to, if we're going 10% above game speed or whatever it may be, if it's, velo machine, something to where we're challenging the guys, he's one of the first guys that's going to have the big energy for that type of stuff. So it's just continuing to do that and allow him to be who he is and be the leader that he is. But yeah.
Ryan, is the power the best trait of this lineup, or do you think it might be something else that we're not talking about?
Again, we're not going to hang our hat just on the long ball. We can really run. We're still gonna drag and push. We're gonna see the field. We're gonna be ball players. It's not just get up there and take big ol' uphill swings. So I think the balance, the depth, the fact that we do have a chance to run a lineup out that can leave the yard speaks to this group and their talent and the way they go about it. But we're going to be able to score in a lot of different ways as long as we, have a good plan, stick to it. We'll be fine.
Okay. Anybody else? Thanks, guys.
Sweet.